Genesis chapter 4, verse 16, where we wrap up this section of the narrative about Cain. He has killed his brother Abel. God has judged him, but also offered him a sense of mercy by preventing people from striking him down right away. And now we're going to see the wrap up of this scene. Exelthen de Cain, apa prosoput tu theou, kai oikesen in ge neid, katenanti edem. We begin with a de here. Typically, we've seen kais driving most of the narrative. And so in some sense, this de marks a summation or a wrap-up to the narrative, kind of landing the plane, if you will. The verb here is exelthen, which is from ex erchomai. You can see the stem change plus a lengthening, a third singular ending. So this would be a third singular aorist active indicative. He departed, or he went out. And who did it? Cain did. So Cain went out. And then we have apa prosoput tu theou, from the face of God, which was his initial fear that if you send me out from your face, then people will strike me down. But God had promised him a certain protection and put a mark on him and so forth. It's worth pointing out that at least the Masoretic tradition has just the tetragrammaton here as opposed to theos. But we've seen that difference before. Again, not sure if that's because the translator's operating from a different Hebrew text or there's some sort of interference going on. Don't know, but you'll see the all caps Lord in your English Bible from the Hebrew. And then the next scene, kai oikesen here. This is from oikeo, and you can tell there's an oikos underneath the hood there. But there is a lengthening plus a subscription or a subscript of the iota here. An S plus an en ending. This is also a third singular aorist active indicative. It means to dwell or to make residence, and he is in the land of Naid. You'll typically see this as Nod from the Hebrew. Again, transliterations of names can be a little bit weird into the Greek, but that's the land where he goes. And then katenanti edem. Now, katenanti means opposite in Greek, typically. So it's across from Edom. The Hebrew in the Masoretic, at least, has east of Eden. You may remember the book by the title East of Eden that I mentioned by John Steinbeck a few videos ago. Now, what's interesting about this wrap up to this initial narrative of Cain is that just as Adam and Eve have been removed from Eden and sent to the east, and then that way back was guarded by the cherubim, so also Cain, who has inherited sin from his father and then struck down his brother, has now also received, in many respects, a recapitulation of that same judgment. And so, really, when you get to the end of verse 16, it's quite interesting. Is the redemptive seed of the woman at risk? Because now she's had two sons. One is dead. The other is a murderer and is now pushed out by God again. And so the question that we get to here is what's going to happen? What's going to happen to the promise of God all the way back to Genesis 3:15? Is it at risk? We're going to skip over the next several verses dealing with the offspring of Cain and his wives. We're going to jump towards the end where we do see a glimmer of hope come back into the picture for Adam and Eve and a new son. But you're going to have to wait for that in the next video, so stay tuned.